The following is a production of the Lakeside Chiefs Radio Network. Welcome to the Lakeside Football Report with head coach Tom Clements. Your weekly in-depth look at all things Lakeside Chiefs football. We'll look back at last week's game and look ahead and break down this week's matchup.
35-30, 25-20, 50, 10, 5, gone! Touchdown, Lakeside!
With your host, Ben McAlilly.
Welcome into week 2 of the Lakeside football season. Welcome to the Lakeside Football Report with head coach Tom Clements. I am your host, voice of the Chiefs, Ben McAlilly. Coach, coming off a big win last week, 50-7 over Southern Prep. Just kind of give us your thoughts on last week's game.
Well, good evening, first of all. Thanks for coming in, Ben. And we always appreciate what you do. But yes, going on into the game, we came out and did what we wanted to do and got things going early and kind of put them in a bind and didn't give them a chance to really recover. And we made some big plays that hurt them defensively, especially early on, and it kind of set the tone for the game. And we never looked back. And just really a lot of things were a typical first week game, but definitely had a lot more positive than negative. So it was a good night for us.
We'll expand on that a little bit. It was what did you see that we did well, and then on the flip side of that, what do we need to work on before this week's game?
The main thing I noticed that I was anxiously awaiting to see was we actually played a little physical. That's just something you can't really tell when you don't have many out and you can't really go live and practice, and it's just kind of an unknown. But when the game kicked and we got going, I knew immediately. I said, we're playing physical, and that's what we wanted to see, and we noticed that. And we struggled in some areas. We didn't make as many big plays as we thought that we should have or could have, but those things will come with time. But mainly, I was just really excited to see that we came out and played physical.
Kind of on that same note, one thing I put down in my notes, it was when we were on defense, we didn't have a lot of missed tackles. You got pressure from your front, and then your linebackers and your safeties would kind of hem them up, and even some of the guys that are kind of smaller in stature, like a Collins Mitchell or a Brody Horn, they would cut them down. Just kind of give us your thoughts on how we looked on defense.
Well, this is the first time I've ever actually, yes, I'm the head coach, but I'm also serving as the defensive coordinator. So I'm still getting my feet wet with it too. But I was really pleased with a lot of things. There were some gap disciplines that we were trying to instill in them, and we noticed that they were pretty good with that. Like you mentioned, the angle tackles and different things that it's hard to really work again, with in open field situations and all that when when you don't have as many out there as you'd like. But it did. I mean, everything played in our favor in that area, and I was glad to see that. And defense is when you're playing physical, most of the things are going to go your way. I mean, you can form tackling and different things all you want to, but if you're not physical, you're not going to come up and make plays. So I'll attribute a lot to that, just to the kids that wanted to come out and they're ready to play, and they made some big plays for us defensively.
They did. Flipping over to offense now, talk a little bit about our passing attack. Trip the Ali continues to be a kind of a lethal thing. I know Trip laid in a fade pattern for a touchdown, and also Brandon Jackson on some kind of crossing routes and that stuff. Talk a little bit about, do we run more timing plays, or is it reads that Trip Swain's making from quarterback, or both? Or talk about our aerial attack a little bit.
We're still, in our early or younger phases with that. We'll progress into into more out of it, as the season goes along. But we're, as far as the other night goes, it really, almost every time we threw it, it was just really just to work on something. It wasn't because of a certain down or situation or, we like we said earlier, we had the game in hand, and there was some times during the game we tried to throw the ball, but what I'm waiting to see, and I know our offensive coaches are we going to be able to connect on the 3rd and 8s and the 3rd and 10s when we need it, and are we going to be able to complete a play action pass on 1st and 10 when people aren't expecting it? Those are the kind of situations you really want to see how you're going to throw the ball in. But the other night we did have a few big plays, but we also struggled in the passing game, especially early on. We just had some miscues and just little things that we got to get worked out, some kinks that need to be worked out. But we're going to have to make big plays on the outside, and we all know that. We've said it the entire off season and into the summer, and it's something we'll improve in. It's an area we'll improve in. But like I said, it's an area that I want to wait. I want to see what we do when we have to put the ball in the air and execute. So, and this week's game is we're gonna have those situations. So we'll know pretty early on, exactly how potent our air attack can be.
Well, I know our aerial attack is predicated off our run game first. Talk about it a little bit. With Lane Beasley running the ball, starting at tailback, and then Javius Hill coming in and ran strong, scored a touchdown. Talk about those two just a little bit.
JJ Hill, of course, he's just come over to us this year, and he's never played in the backfield, so that's new to him, and that's also the first time he's ever seen anything live, and as far as running out of the backfield. But he played well, and it's not something you're going to expect him to pick up overnight. But he's been very coachable, number one, and he's a good kid, and we've enjoyed having him around, and he's only going to get better. As far as Lane goes, we knew he'd run tough. He gets the tough yards, and we're expecting big things out of him. And thought he played well the other night. Had a decent run or two out of Brody Horn, and we had our kids. They stepped up, and like it's just all areas right now, and need improvement, but definitely headed in the right direction in that area, and we're just going to continue to work.
Well, fantastic. Well, we're going to step away for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll turn the page to this week's game. Supposed to be at Macon East, but now it's a home game versus Macon East, and we'll dive into that when we come back. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Lakeside Football Report.
This is more than a bundle. It's more than a combo deal. It's not just stuff. This is your home, your car. And you want to give them the protection they deserve. With home and auto insurance. State Farm agents get it. It's why they're here.
In Eufaula, talk to State Farm agent Sam Wise.
APEC Metal Express, offering quality service and guaranteeing to have the right parts and supplies. When you consider buying a roof or pole barn at other places, you make your decision based on a tiny sample. The warehouse at APEC Metal Express has an actual pole barn set up to give you a better idea of what yours will look like. This level of service is one of the things that sets them apart. APEC Metal Express, residential roofing, siding, trim, and in-stock pole barn kits with 16 colors in stock. 985 Technology Drive in Dothan, or call 699-5972.
Somebody cannot come to us, we go to them. It's something that we do on a regular basis, something we don't mind doing, and we work on a contingency basis.
No one has to pay us any money up front.
They do not have to pay us unless we collect for them, unless we are successful in resolving their case through a settlement or through trial.
They don't have to pay us any money unless we get favorable results for them. If you're hurt in a car wreck, call Penn and Seaborn. It won't cost you anything to see if we can help.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Benny Whitehead Incorporated has called Eufaula home since 1965. Today, the family-owned business owns and operates 119 tractors and trailers and employs over 150 people. Benny Whitehead is nationally known as a leader in safety and keeping the air clean and fuel consumption low. Benny Whitehead Incorporated loves Eufaula and would like to wish Lakeside and Eufaula safe and successful seasons. Deloach, Wingate & Company is a professional certified public accountant firm located at 102 Riverside Drive in Eufaula, Alabama. The firm has been in business for 30 years and has developed a number of firm specialties including individual, corporate, partnership, nonprofit income tax returns, individual audit services, tax compliance and consulting, single audits, governmental audits, month-end reporting, payroll preparation, quarterly and annual reporting, and other general accounting and taxation consulting. Please call Deloach, Wingate & Company at 334-687-2108 or drop by their office for all of your accounting needs. Deloach and Wingate welcome the opportunity to support all of our local and surrounding schools with their athletic activities.
Azure Creations supports the Lakeside Chiefs. For all your screen print, embroidery, vinyl, and sublimation needs, contact Azure Creations. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Azure Crafts and Creations. Email us at azure.craftsandcreations@gmail.com or contact us at 334-695-0643. Go Chiefs! This is the Lakeside Chiefs Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Lakeside Football Report with head coach Tom Clements. Coach, I mentioned it before we went to break. This week's game was supposed to be at Macon East in Cecil. We got the notification that it's been changed here. Kind of talk a little bit about what went into all of that this week to make that decision.
It was unexpected. I'm going to back up to Monday, kind of give you an idea of the kind of week we've had around here. It's been pretty wild. We were scheduled to play today a middle school and junior pro peewee game, and due to several issues with both schools having a lot of kids out sick and things like that, we only have 15 or so kids on both rosters, but we decided back on Tuesday that we wouldn't be able to play this week. We're going to have to play it another time. So those two games were canceled. Then we roll around to today. We're supposed to have a home JV and varsity volleyball with Chambers, and it just so happened we both had the same dates. They had us going there, and we had them coming here. So that happened. And then literally about 2 hours after we found that out, which was today in seventh period sometime, we get a call from Macon East, and they're having drainage issues with their field, and it's just not playable. And they asked if we could move it here. So we've been running around here, like we're crazy trying to get things ready and organized. But hey, we're playing here tomorrow. It just so happened that worked out. We'll return the trip to them next year, just flip flop home and away. But it was unexpected, but that's what we're doing, and so we'll be here tomorrow night instead of on the road. And it's just been a crazy week with changes and unexpected things coming up. But sometimes those things happen, and we're going to line the field off and get our volunteer crews ready with the chain crew and the announcers and the officials, everybody here, and we'll get it ready, and we'll
sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties there for a moment. So we talked about moving the game here. Let's talk about Macon East, the football team. They won 19-13 over Lowndes Academy last week, coming off a 7-5 year last year. 7-5 year last year, and Coach Glenn Lott has been there quite a while, for about 25 years or so. Talk a little bit about what you expect for them. What do they do? What do they do well? What gives you problems? What concerns you?
They are a very good football program. They always have been. They're one of the most well-respected teams in our state, and it's going to be a very tough game for us. I mean, I'm not going to deny that. And we've talked about that this week, and what I'm really hoping for and what we're looking for as coaches is how we're going to go out and compete, because we're going to face adversity this week. It's going to happen, and a lot of times, you can tell what type of team you have, their character, and because we didn't really face that last week at all, and we're going to have adversity this week, and it's about putting that play behind you and moving on to the next one, and basically comes down to who wins the most plays, and we're trying to get that in our kids' heads. It's things aren't going to go our way every single snap, and we're anxious to see how we're going to handle facing some adversity, but they present us a lot of problems. I mean, they're very good in the skill spots. They're very good up front. They're really above average in all of those categories. So it's going to be very tough for us, and they're very well coached. And it's good to play a team like that, especially early, because it'll tell us where we're at and definitely what we need to work and improve on. But Coach Lott has been there for years, like you said. He was back in Macon when it was Macon Academy in Tuskegee. So, I mean, he was there when the school left there and moved, and he's been there for, oh gosh, I don't know how many years. So, but he's always done a really good job, and I expect it to be, nothing any different tomorrow night. But I really, really, really want to see how our kids are going to come out and see what kind of emotion we can play with, and see if we can get something going early, and just see what we can do with them.
Well, it's always good to play in your own building against somebody that they're 2A, we're 1A. They did beat Lowndes, who's in our region, last week. Lowndes actually led the game, I think 13-0, second quarter or halftime. I read the score on the air. What do they show offensively? What kind of offense do they run? What kind of defense do they run?
They do a lot of different things offensively. They run the counter about as good as you can run it. They'll do it out of multiple looks, and they're really good with misdirection, and they'll spread you out, and they'll go too tight, too flank or ace look, and a lot of 2x2, 3x1. They'll go trips open, trips closed. They do a lot. So you really got to be on your toes defensively, and they're going to present us some problems. And I know they're really good at working out and finding mismatches within your defense. So we're looking for those guys to step up, and we're going to have to make some big plays that are that's going to be unexpected tomorrow night. There's going to be some people that's just going to have to step up and make plays. Defensively, they'll mostly have a 3-4 cover 2 look. They'll play some cover 4. They'll do a lot out of it as well, and very disciplined in their gaps and over the top. And their secondary is strong. They'll be up against our strength, so that's going to be a key matchup to look at or look for tomorrow night. So it's going to be tough, and we know that, and we're excited about the challenge, and we're just going to go out and do the best we can, and hopefully we can make more plays than they can.
Well, fantastic. Well, we're going to step away for another quick commercial break. We'll come back and we will wrap things up on the Lakeside Football Report with Coach Tom Clements.
This is the Lakeside Chiefs Radio Network.
Lakeside Football Report with head coach Tom Clements. Coach, I know the title of the show is the Lakeside Football Report, but you're also the athletic director here at the Lakeside School. Talk a little bit about some of the other fall sports that are going on right now.
Okay, we have several things going on. But first of all, in the football department, we have junior pro football, which is our 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. We play mainly out of the Georgia Association. The schools are much closer than a lot that we play around here, and it's just easier on a weeknight, a school night, to play somebody much closer, and so that's a good thing for them. And we also have our middle school, which we changed up this year. It's our 7th and 8th grade. In the past, it's always been the JV, which was 7, 8, 9. But we changed it to middle school, 7th and 8th, and our varsity is 9 through 12. Don't have the numbers where we want them at, but we think that by doing this and making these changes we made, that it's going to create more interest in the younger age groups and going to hold them tight, and coming into their older age groups. And we would really think we have a good plan with that. But we also wanted to have a 9th and 10th grade B team and, play 3 or 4 games during the week, but we just don't have the participation right now. We have the numbers in those classes. It just so happens that's the varsity right now. So, but that's kind of the direction we're heading with that. We have volleyball going on, and then we have a junior varsity program, which is 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. Then the varsity is your 9 through 12 as well. And they're we also have cross country going on. I think this is year 3. And we've been successful in that. We actually have several kids here that are really good distance runners, and which is good in cross country, and they've been out working hard too. And it's it's good to see these kids, and our kids here, they participate in multiple things. It's not just 1 or 2 things. And that's, I mean, we rely on that. We don't have many numbers, in our high school age groups, and we provide all the sports we can, but we have to have the participants we need as well. So these kids they have to participate in more than one. So, we have a lot going on this fall, and it's good to see them active and involved in several areas. And we also, cheer has their competition in the summertime, but of course they're supporters of our football programs, and handle the pep rallies and all the spirit related topics and items and things with football. And we have a Pee Wee cheer group with the younger lower school kids, and we have our JV cheer group, which is 7, 8, 9, and then our varsity cheer group, 10, 11, 12. But we have a lot going on, which is good. We're involved in a lot of areas athletically, and we've been competitive in everything, and so our fall sports program is been a success so far.
Fantastic. Well, Coach, it's always good to hear the goings on around the Lakeside School and the athletic department, and you do a great job as athletic director. Flipping back to football and for tomorrow night's game, did we come out of last week's game pretty healthy, or are there any significant injuries that'll limit anybody's playing time this week?
We have, football related issues. Everybody else has it too. So yeah, we have some that's going to play banged up. We had some issues earlier in the week with fever, flu, those type things. But as far as actual on field incidents, we got a kid with a bum ankle right now that may not dress out tomorrow night. Just don't know that yet. We got a few back yesterday and today that were out with flu. So it's just, other than that, just typical football bumps and bruises that you got to play through. And I don't really remember a game I ever played healthy, to be honest with you. It's just not like that. So we're going to play through it and do the best we can, and hopefully stay as healthy as we can.
Gotcha. And I know I ask you this every week, but what do you see as the keys to victory tomorrow night?
We can't make mistakes, and we're going to have to force them to make mistakes, but more importantly, capitalize off of their mistakes. I think, time-consuming drives would be big for us. We're going to have to execute some third down situations, and we got to stay ahead of the chains and can't afford to go backwards, not hurt ourselves. We can't give up big plays defensively, and they have the big playmaking capabilities, and that is scary. But we're just going to have to keep them contained and force a lot of punts out of them, and in the special teams area, we don't we don't kick it the deepest in the kickoff department, and we're going to have to make sure we really cover the best we can, and they have a good kicker, and so they're a little ahead of us in that department, but that's something else we got to do better this week. Is we've got to execute our extra points. It was awful last week. That's the only way you can say it. So worked on that this week, got that tidied up a little bit, but it's just those little things. These games like this, these big games, they come down to little things. So, and last week making these, you mentioned beat Lowndes. Lowndes is the defending Class A champion that was out of our area, our region last year, and pretty much returned mostly everybody. And they look really good on film. Making these just hit a few big plays on them. And, you know, like I said, they have the deep threats and they have the skill threat, and they're good in those areas, and we're just going to have to have a chance. We're going to have to eliminate their big plays.
Understood. Well, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. at Reeves Field on the campus of Lakeside School, come out and support the Chiefs. Wear blue, be loud, and just come out and show your support for the boys. For Coach Tom Clements, I'm Ben McElroy, the voice of the Chiefs. Thank you for joining us on the Lakeside Football Report. My time is up, and I thank you for yours.